Like Silent Hill 2 is like baby's first Silent Hill. You said, well, everyone says it's fun with a friend, and that's literally it.
Who talking about they like Resident Evil 5? You're wrong. That game is terrible. It's ass. It's garbage. It's doo-doo. It's that stuff that comes out of your butthole. It's shit. Number 2, it is a garbage game. Stop buying video games on day one. Stop buying them on day one launch, because these games are most likely buggy as all hell.
Kickstarter does the same thing, where you can, like, Steam, you purchase something on Steam, and then you try to open it, and it's like, oh no, you need this other third-party launcher. And it's like, what? And earlier, in Resident Evil 1, where Chris laughs at Wesker, and he's like, Wesker's like, Chris, stop it!
Joined by the illustrious, smart, and laid-back Kelsey Fearless. How you guys doing today? Good morning, good afternoon, good night to everyone around the world. I am your favorite friendly neighborhood beard bro with seriously bad allergies, Mr. Kennedy. And I am joined once again by the beautiful, illustrious, smart, laid-back queen of Silent Hill, Kelsey Fearless. How are you today?
Thank you, Ken. Oh, I'm well, Ken. How are you? How are you today?
I'm doing all right. The weather has it's been pretty damn bad out here, honestly. Like, it's been raining every day of the week.
Really? We're supposed to get that. It rained a little bit today, but
it's just having a sweet old time, huh?
Yep. Exactly.
If you guys haven't had the chance, you guys got to go to Kelsey's Facebook. I was about to say Kelsey's YouTube channel, because she's putting up tutorial videos.
Oh yeah.
For Silent Hill 3, and
I am doing that. Yes.
Y'all need to hear the telephone voice. Y'all got to hear the telephone
voice. Oh my god.
Because
oh my god.
What you hear here is not how she sounds in the video. It's like,
no, you think that's funny, don't you? You think that's funny?
I actually think it's quite soothing. Honestly.
Soothing.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I appreciate that.
You know, but other than that, I'm pretty good. It's welcome to episode 7 of the Hot Takes podcast. It's going to be very Nintendo and Microsoft heavy. Coming off of the showcases, we have a lot of games that they announced. We're going to be talking about a lot of Kickstarter scams, because I really didn't even realize that there was so many.
Oh, there's so many.
So we will be getting on with that later on in the show. Today is June 24th? June 23rd?
23rd.
Yeah, I don't even know what the hell day of the week it is. Today is June 23rd, 2024. Let's get into this. First off, I got to talk about Sam Ash. I don't know if you guys know about what that is.
What's Sam Ash?
In the US, we had this is a music store. Like, this was the go-to for like your music equipment. So I bought my audio.
Okay.
Yeah, I bought my audio mixer from there. I bought my microphone from there. And I bought my Elgato Stream Deck from there. So that was like my go-to for music equipment. They closed down all of their stores, all 100 locations. And no, I'm sorry, 100 locations. All locations across the U.S. Sam Ash has been around for 100 years. That's what I meant to say.
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I had to speak on that.
They're closing all their stores. That's crazy. That's crazy. In Canada, we have that would be like Long and McQuaid to us if that closed. That's crazy.
Yeah, they filed for bankruptcy.
Oh.
And it's crazy because Red Lobster closed up too.
Yeah, they did. And didn't they say it was like the endless shrimp or the all you can eat or something? I think that was a joke.
I think I've been to Red Lobster one time, and that's it. Like, I'm not a seafood guy
by any means
at all.
Oh, I love seafood. I love seafood.
Yeah, I'm not really a fan of that stuff. A lot of that stuff I'm allergic to. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That makes sense. All right. Yeah, all right. I see why you're not a fan.
But before we get started here, if you guys need to catch the first 6 episodes of the Hot Takes podcast, y'all can see at the top all the links that we have: Spotify, iHeartRadio, Samsung Podcast, Pandora, Podchaser, Spreaker, Amazon Music, YouTube, and Twitch. And try that all in one breath. I bet you can't.
Or yep, we're everywhere. We're everywhere except Apple.
Yeah.
Screw you, Apple. We don't want you anyway.
The legendary fight with Apple still continues. If y'all look at the bottom of the screen on my end of the stream, you can see our hot takes podcast at yahoo.com. If you guys want to send us questions and we'll answer it on air, keep it professional. Because if you don't keep it professional, you will get the manhammer.
Oh yeah, you're getting out of here. Giving you the bum's rush, buddy.
Yes. Anyways, let's get into it. You know, the funny thing is, we were talking about video game movies last week, and it's funny.
Yeah.
It seems like a lot of like famous actors want to get into the voice acting for video games. You know, I was reading up that Danny DeVito wants to be Wario in the next Super Mario Brothers movie. He'd be great
for that.
And I had to sit there and think about that. I'm like, you know what? If anybody could pull it off, he couldn't.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
And I'm not talking about live action. I'm talking about, the cartoon movie that they had. No more live action Mario movie.
Yeah. No, thank you. No, thank you. Yeah, I like the animated ones they came out with recently.
You know, I did get a chance to watch that last Mario Brothers movie. It's actually pretty good. Like, that's what
I haven't watched it. I want to watch it.
That's what it should have been. It really should have been, like a cartoon, like 3D, 2D, 3D type thing. That's what it should have been, like the CGI Resident Evil movies.
Yeah.
So nobody would have to be drunk while doing the the movie.
That's so funny. Oh, right. Yeah, I really want to rewatch that. I did say that. I want to rewatch that while, like, having the knowledge that they are indeed, like, drunk during that time. Just knowing that they're, like, hammered.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Yeah, they both said that was the worst thing that they ever did.
Yeah, I believe that. That would be painful.
But yeah, I mean, if they're smart, they will cast him. It's the same thing like I talked about with Keanu Reeves wanting to be playing Knuckles in the next Sonic the Hedgehog movie.
Oh yeah.
So it's like, you're getting a lot of the top tier actors that want to go into this. Had they had this back then, maybe it would have been a little better.
Do you remember the first Sonic? Do you remember the first Sonic, like when they did the Sonic movie, the first design they had for Sonic?
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Everybody went crazy because it looked like really bad fan art.
Oh, yeah, it did. It looked like really bad fan art. Yeah, exactly. It was so weird. It was warped.
Yeah, I remember that. Everybody, I saw it all over Twitter. Everybody was all pissed off. Like, man, like, if you don't get this ugly ass thing away from us. And they had to go back and redesign Sonic and everything. I remember that.
Yeah. They had to do that with James. They had to do that with James too in Silent Hill 2 remake. They changed his face, say he was too ugly.
Wow, it was that bad?
Yeah, no, they actually went back and remade it. They've had to go back and fix this game like 50 times. Like,
Damn.
No one, like... Anyway.
So they got to be careful with that because you're messing with people's nostalgia. Nostalgia is a very powerful thing, and you don't want to screw with that.
Oh, it is. Especially a game like Silent Hill.
Yeah, anything like that. When it comes to anything that somebody holds near and dear, you got to be absolutely careful with that. Well, let's move on here. Let me ask you a question here. What game went under the radar that you had no interest in, but then you ended up getting into?
What do you mean by no interest? Like under the radar, it was released and there wasn't much about it.
A game that you had no interest in, that you didn't care about, and then later on when you played
Okay.
it, you got into.
Oh man, I think the first one would be Pathologic. I didn't think I'd get into that game. That game's a suffering simulator, but there's a lot of reading. And the game's really mean. There's Pathologic 2 is a little bit better, but it's like a mean game. It's like a suffering simulator. You have to you have to figure out how to cure a plague in like 12 days. But you also have to manage like your health and your sleep and your thirst and how infected you are and stuff, and you have to do it over 12 days. Then the time goes by faster. I didn't think I'd like that kind of management in a game. I love that game. I love that game.
You know, I've never
How about you?
I never actually heard of that one. I'm about to check it out.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's good.
For
It's just a
me,
lot of reading.
I mean, there's plenty of games that were like that, but I guess I would have to say at the top of the list would probably be Dead by Daylight. Like,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
yeah, there was a game that was a game where I was on the fence, I mean, for years, because I'm terrible at those types of games. And I was just like, I don't know, one on four is not really my type of thing. And then
Yeah.
when I finally got it, I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
I was like, this is fun.
I was actually surprised when you said you were getting into Dead by Daylight. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I was surprised when you said you were getting into Dead by Daylight. Like, that actually surprised me.
But, well, I mean, why did that surprise you? Because,
It just didn't seem like a game you would be into.
yeah, I mean, I'm not really a PvP guy or like a multiplayer type of guy like that, unless I'm, playing with friends. But yeah, it's a horror game. It's a horror theme game, so
It's true.
it's right up my alley. It's kind of like when we were talking about Monster Hunter, how, you would think that everything is set up for a guy like me to like a game like that.
Yeah.
Creating your own character and just running around on fields and killing giant dinosaurs and monsters and stuff. But for some reason, it just doesn't grab me,
No, it's just not your thing.
So, we have them surprises there. On the flip side, what game were you excited about, but ended up being a big disappointment?
Spore. Spore.
What's that?
Do you don't know what Spore is? Okay. So, like, Will Wright, like, working for Maxis. I forget what he did in Maxis. But he created The Sims, and he had Spore, and it was supposed to be like this life simulator where you start as like, a tiny little like molecule, and you kept evolving, and eventually you could evolve so much that you moved out into space, and then there was space. Like, it was just touted as like this great life simulator, because they also had like all these other sim games, right? Like Sim City, Sim Earth, like Maxis had so many sim games. And so this was like their like next gen attempt at one of those games again, and like a creature sim. It bailed. It was nothing like what they promised. There was like this whole, like, they had this entire like showcase of it, and they were showing all these different things you could do in the game. It was not there. None of that was there. It was boring and repetitive.
Wow, so they lied.
Hated it. Yeah, hated it. Hated it.
Ugh. Well, I mean, that sucks when you get hyped for a video game, and there's plenty of examples I could think of when it comes to that. But come on now, y'all know me by now. Y'all know what I'm gonna say before I say it. So I'm not even gonna say it. I'm just gonna play it. Look,
No.
for those people who talk about they like Resident Evil 5, you're wrong. That game is terrible. It's ass. It's garbage. It's doo-doo. It's that stuff that comes out of your butthole. It's shit. Number 2, it is a garbage game. Yes, At one time,
Yeah.
I was hyped for Resident Evil 5 until I saw the finished product, and I was mad. I was really
And you
angry.
didn't like it.
No.
You didn't like it.
And Resident Evil 6, because they did us dirty with that, man. Like, and I saw what they did. What they did was they took Leon's campaign and they made it the demo. So when I first played it, I was like, okay, they're going back to survival horror. And then I got the finished product and I was like, did Michael Bay make this game? With all the explosions and stuff like that. So those are two examples. Another example is the last Batman game that we got. Not the Telltale ones, that last Arkham game that we got. That thing was crap. And it was
Arkham game?
I think it was Arkham.
Wasn't Asylum, was it?
No,
no.
Arkham Origins, I think it's called.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
there hasn't been an Arkham game for a while, has there?
Nah, I was hyped about that, and it sucked, and it barely plays on PC either. So, they just put it out unfinished product, and the story was just pretty damn bad. So those are the examples that come to mind. And you know what? I'll throw one more out there: the Resident Evil 3 remake.
Yeah. Oh man. The Resident Evil 3.
When I first saw that, I was so hyped. I was so hyped for that game. I was like, man, I can't wait. And then they gave me half a game. And I know what people are gonna say. Well, it's fun, if you don't think about
not
the
for
original.
That price.
Yeah, for that price, they charged
not
you.
For that price.
They charged you full price. But the thing is, it's like, we talked about nostalgia. Nostalgia, again, being a powerful thing. I played Resident Evil 3 since 99 all the way up until now. So it's hard for me to, to just be like, all right, I'm just going to forget that they removed a whole bunch of crap from the game. And they basically gave us a demo on a disc, basically.
Should have been a DLC. I think it should have been a DLC. 100%. Like, if it should have been a DLC, and like, I absolutely hate Inferno mode. Inferno mode was nasty. That final boss fight, like, I don't know what they were thinking. With that final boss fight in Inferno.
Well, to be honest, the Inferno mode is the only thing I actually like about it, to be honest.
Well, I just don't like that they expect you to, use unlocks. I don't like that. I don't like that about the newer Resident Evils. All of the, like, second hardcore modes really expect you to use unlocks. I don't like that.
Isn't that what Resident Evil 7 does? Like, what is that Madhouse mode where they want you to use?
Madhouse does. I did Madhouse without unlocks. I don't want to do Village of Shadows without unlocks. That game is too long and has way too much going on for a game that doesn't. That game, like, requires you to do unlocks and, like, upgrading your stats and stuff. Like, I'm not doing that. Same reason I really don't want to do professional.
It sounds like a pain in the ass. And it's like, now I don't mind challenge. Both you and I, we love challenging games, but when they design a game for you to play a certain game style, it could take you out of it. I don't want to use no damn unlockables.
Yeah. No, exactly. I don't either.
Cheesing through the game like that, I'm like, it just takes the fun out of it, and it just doesn't make it challenging.
Exactly. Exactly.
In the first Evil Within, they give you the brass knuckles, which kills enemies, with one hit. Like, you just punch them, and and they're dead.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't want that. There's no way to turn it off.
But that's actually that. At least you get that for being a Kumu. That's the nice thing about that. I feel the same way with the hand cannon in Dead Space. Like, by the time that you've gotten, like, when you beat Impossible mode in Dead Space, you get the hand cannon, and it's just like a foam number 1 finger, and Isaac, like, goes pew pew pew. he literally says pew 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 and it one shot things, but like that is fun because by the time you're done impossible mode in Dead Space 2 remake or Dead Space 1 remake, like you never really want to play this game again.
Yeah, I remember
You never
that.
really want to play it again.
I remember that. It's just like the swordfish weapon that you get in Prince of Persia: Warrior Within. Like he literally, he has like a toy hammer and a toy telephone and junk that he just goes around clubbing enemies with.
Yeah. Oh my God, it's fun. It's fun, but it has to be like Resident Evil has like the point store where you just like unlock points and stuff. Like, nah, it has to be a crazy item that one shots things in a stupid way.
You know,
for after I beat it, the worst.
The only thing that I actually use, if we're talking about the Resident Evil 3 remake, the only thing that I use from there is I use 4 things from there. Like I just use the assault coins and I use the defense coins in Inferno mode. I mean, that's the only thing that I use. I don't use no infinite weapons because that's bullshit and that's cheating.
It's just like, doesn't the defense coin stop you from getting one shot?
Well, it definitely gives you a stronger defense, but on Inferno mode, you'll still get knocked around in 2 hits.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you know
he did Inferno.
There's no iframes in that, so when Nemesis knocks you down, he can run right up on you and club you again. You dead.
Hate it. I hate it.
You know, so that guy's rough. I think he's worse than Mr. X. In that regard.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely worse than Mr. X.
Yes. Now let's move on here. Let me ask you another question here. This is like a question segment for Miss Kelsey.
Apparently.
What is your preparation before you start a stream?
Well, let me think here. I'll do my hair, put on some makeup. I'll sit down, I'll yell like random stuff into my microphone. Just like I'll check it, I just yell random things. I don't know.
I don't know why I was thinking about Eric Clapton at that point when you said put on your makeup. It's like, it's late in the evening.
Yeah.
She's wondering what clothes to wear. She puts on makeup.
Oh man. I do that. I sit down. I update. This is like my whole schedule, actually. I update my stream title. I open the game. I set up my capture. I press play.
Well, I mean, I wasn't talking about, like, of course, doing that stuff, but I'm talking about like mindset preparation before you start a stream. Like what?
I don't really have any. Absolutely no thoughts.
So you just like, it's time to stream. Click.
Well, no, I know I need to stream. But like, yeah, I guess I just go on and stream. But like, I've been doing it for a long time. Not really a long time, but I've been doing it almost 2 years.
So I think you're basically on autopilot, basically.
Yeah, I'm just on autopilot. Like, I'm just gonna sit down. Like, the only thing I do is like when I first start my stream, I don't have a starting soon stream. So you know what? No, this is actually what I do. That's okay. I figured it out. What I actually do is I don't have a starting soon screen. Rather, I just start my stream and I just say like, okay, I always start my stream with today is the day of the week. That is, if you watch my VODs, I start every stream with today is like the day of the week. And then I just talk about what I'm going to do. I talk about like what it's like outside. I talk about anything that happened during the day. I talk about things that happened yesterday. And I do that for maybe like 5 minutes. And I think that's what I do. Like, I just turn on my kit. But to make it so that I'm not like waiting and being like trying to psych myself up beforehand, I just take that like 5 minutes where there's no one here to just do it.
Yeah, I get you on that. With me, it's more like on the technical side. Like there's a lot that I put into. I'm gonna make it short, but there's a lot that I put into before I stream. Like I run Twitch test. You know what that is, right?
Yep.
I run Twitch test. Say that 5 times.
Right.
And what that does is, if you guys don't have that and you're a streamer, you really need to get that, because what it'll do is it'll run all the servers in your area and it'll pick out the strongest server.
Yep.
And then when you get that,
Yes.
you go on the OBS and you pick the strongest one near you so that you won't have any connection issues.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Canada only has like 2 of them.
Yeah. Well, actually,
Canada literally only has 2 servers.
Yeah. Well, I mean, actually, if you're talking about the US, I think it's like 10.
Yeah, we only have like 2.
But in
It's
Florida,
like Toronto and Montreal.
in Florida, there's only 2. There's the one in Miami, and then there's one in Florida, Miami.
That's not bad.
And then I connect to the one in Georgia every now and again, Atlanta, Georgia, which is above us. But yeah, a lot of preparation. I actually take notes before I do my stream. Like not the commentary, because I already, everything that I say is on the fly, except for the podcast. I got my notes over here. You got to be spontaneous, and you got to know how to actually talk. People are going to know when you're reading from a teleprompter or something like that.
Oh, exactly.
So I do that, of course I get my water and stuff, and then I just go on the fly. A lot of people think that it's an overly complicated thing when you're streaming. I'm like, no, you just get on there, have good audio, and you just wing it. Just be yourself.
Yep. That's what I do. No thoughts, just stream. No thoughts, just video games.
Unless you like Resident Evil 5, in that case you can go to hell. But no, I'm just playing. Y'all don't go to hell. Go to HFIL, Home for Infinite Losers. That's a more that's a more friendly way of saying it. I'm just playing. Let's move on here. Since we're talking about streams, you know what grinds my gears? This is a segment I used to do on my old podcast. I know it's a Family Guy thing, but I'm like, you know what grinds my gears?
Yeah.
When you go to these streams where they have the follower only chat.
Oh, yeah.
That means you can't even talk to the person unless you follow them. I'm like, I don't even know what your vibe is. I don't even know what you're like. And you expect for me to follow you just to talk to you. I'm like, I don't do that. The way that I do things,
I don't either.
I'll go to your stream. I'll listen to you a little bit. I'll fill out your vibe. And if I feel like, hey, you know what? He or she, they're pretty cool, let me drop them a follow. But I hate that follower only crap.
That's what I do. That's what I do too. Like the only time I can see it is like if someone's getting like, I don't know, like rated or something, like people are like being absolute dicks to them in chat. But like I do know some people, like or some people really just don't want chat on in any real way. Like they don't want chat on. And I'm kind of like, why don't you just make a YouTube video?
Exactly.
I don't understand that. Why don't you just go make a YouTube video then? It's probably easier.
Exactly. Why have a live stream where and the worst thing is when you have the subscriber only chat or you have the emotes only chat.
Oh yeah.
What the hell is the purpose of having an emotes only feature?
Oh, only if like, I don't know. Probably like if the streamer needs to concentrate 100%. That's the only time I've seen it used. But otherwise, like, yeah, no point.
Yeah, I never liked that. I mean, you have the right to run your stream any which way you see fit. But just know that a lot of people that pop in and they see that, they pop right out just like Homer, right back in the bushes. They come right in.
Yeah, exactly.
It's kind of annoying. Anyways, though, let's talk about Microsoft and their announcements.
Oh, boy.
Yes, it looks like Microsoft is pulling a Sony on us. They announced new hardware for the holidays, but it's not what you guys think. At the Xbox showcase, they announced new variants of the Xbox Series and Series X consoles. which in other words is just different versions with the same specs. So they announced the Xbox Series X with 1 terabyte for $349. The Xbox Series X Digital Edition with 1 terabyte for $449, and then the Xbox Series X 2 terabyte Galaxy Black Edition for $599. All consoles have
Galaxy Black Edition.
Yeah, say that with a bunch of air. But all of those consoles have the same specs as every other console that they just came out with in the series thing. And you already know my question. Why? What is the point of this? What is the purpose of this?
Money.
You know, number one, none of these systems are worth the prices that they're putting up. The Xbox Series X for 1 terabyte, $349. Seriously?
Yep.
No, the Xbox Series X Digital Edition, $449. So you expect people to pay that kind of money for consoles that they already have, just to have extra memory?
Yep. When you can just like mod it yourself.
And they got hard drives.
You can literally just mod it yourself. Yeah, exactly. Mod it yourself.
Yeah, they got the hard drives that you can just go and buy and just pop it in there. Like you talk cheating people, just like when I was talking about the PS5 bullshit, the PS5 Pro. And I still don't see what's pro about it. You know, people got on my case. It is what it is. It's the same damn system, just with a few extra things. It's not worth the price that they're putting out. The Xbox Series X 2 terabytes for $600.
Yeah. When like a 2 terabyte hard drive costs like what? I can probably get that for under $100.
I'm here. Depends on what you're getting it for. Like for the most part, a 2 terabyte is like 150 US dollars. But you know, my point is, it's like if it was 4 terabytes, if it was 6 terabytes, then I can understand the price increase. But 2 terabytes.
Yeah.
What as big as games are now, like games that you get like 4 or 5 games, that thing will eat up that whole hard drive, man.
Yep. Exactly. It's not worth it.
And it's just like when Nintendo did that with the Switch, when they came out with the new Switch and it had 1 gigabyte of memory on there.
Yep.
Huzzah. I mean,
my phone has more than that.
Yeah, I was so excited. You know what my excited face was for that console?
Yep. You're like, oh, okay, thanks. Sorry.
It ain't worth
looking down. That was it.
It ain't worth no price increase. You know, so like I said, like they're cheating us, man. Like they could have been like,
they are.
They could have been like, we're coming out with an Xbox handheld or something. Like they're just releasing the same thing over and over again. Give me a break. You know, it's bullshit. Anyways, they also announced a game that I don't give a shit about, but I know that a lot of people find it very it's very popular, and that's Call of Duty Black Ops 6.
Can't believe we're on 6.
That's what they led with. And it looks just like every other Call of Duty game that I've seen before. I don't get it. I'm sorry. I don't get it. What the hype is about this game. Other than rage videos on YouTube where dudes are going around knifing people and they get called every name in the book.
Yeah.
That is kind of funny though. It's like, that's why you're trash, man. You're trash. You're going around knifing people. And I'm thinking to myself, doesn't it take skills to get close to somebody that has a machine gun and knife them?
Right.
Yeah. I don't really care for Call of Duty, but you know, a lot of people are hyped about that, and you know, it's probably going to be a bestseller this year.
Oh yeah.
And I'm still trying to wrap my head around that. I wonder about people sometimes, but to each their own. They also announced a new Indiana Jones game, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. And I haven't seen an Indiana Jones game, I think, since, what was it, the PS2, I think it was? I dig it.
Didn't an Indiana Jones movie come out like last year?
Yeah, because Harrison Ford won't quit. Just like
Yeah.
Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like, how many Terminator movies are you
No.
gonna keep making, dude?
Yeah.
Like, how many times is the Terminator gonna come back?
Yeah.
Just leave it alone, bro.
Exactly.
But this game does sound interesting, though. It uncovers one history of the greatest mysteries in a first-person single-player adventure. The year is 1937. The sinister forces are scouring the globe for secret ancient power. I'm sorry, man. My allergies are all jacked up, man. So
You're good. You're good.
eyesight is blurry. But yes, so they announced that. Here's other games that I'm hyped about. Dragon Age, I think it's the Veilguard. Oh man.
Veilguard, yeah.
I saw some of the gameplay on that. And the funny thing is, when I used to work security for EA, they were working on the early stages of that game. Like, they were bringing people in to test play a lot of the stuff that they had before I quit. So I knew a Dragon Age game was coming. I just didn't know when.
You already knew. You were waiting for it.
And I love Dragon Age. If y'all haven't played the Dragon Age games, what the hell are y'all doing with your lives? Go pick it up. Inquisition is on sale on Steam for like $5, and that's a damn good game. Another game that I'm excited for that they announced, and I hope that they don't screw it up. Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater, which is a remake of Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, which is one of my all-time favorite games.
Oh, it's gonna get screwed up. I'm sorry.
Oh.
Sorry to tell you already. It might get screwed up. Oh, it looks sick. Oh, okay.
I'm gonna give it a chance. But the thing is, like, games could look sick. Games look sick all the time, but then it ends up being crap. Sometimes.
Yep.
But
exactly.
I'm willing to give it a chance.
Exactly.
Because it's Snake Eater. I love that game. You know how many hours I spent playing that when I had the PS2? I would come home from school, and then later on when I dropped out, because I dropped out at 17. Don't do that, folks. But I would just play that game for hours and hours and hours and hours.
Yeah.
And I unlocked
it. It's one of those games for you.
Yeah, I love it. The fact that, because one of my favorite movies is Rambo First Blood. So to be Naked Snake out there in the jungle, and you got to kill animals to survive, and you take out soldiers with your bayonet knife and all that. It's just awesome, man. I love games like that. I get hyped about that. Another game that they announced was Life is Strange Double Exposure for the PC and Xbox. When Max Caulfield finds her friend Safi, I think it's called, her name is, her friend Safi dead in the snow, she tears open a way to a parallel timeline where Safi is still alive and still in danger. With her power to shift between two timelines, can Max solve and prevent the same murder? Sounds interesting.
Oh.
I've never played any.
I see.
I
haven't either.
Any of the Life is Strange games, but it's pretty cool though.
Yeah.
God of War Ragnarok is coming to PC on September 19th. So I'm definitely going to pick that up. Because
You're going to grab that game.
Yeah, I heard a lot of good things about that game.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely going to pick that up. Another game that was announced for the PS5 and PC, which I don't know why that's a part of the Xbox announcements. That just goes to show how tired I was. Until Dawn has been rebuilt and enhanced for the PS5 and the PC. Until Dawn is an interactive drama which players primarily assume controls of 8 young adults who have to survive on Blackwood Mountain. Interactive
Till they're rescued
drama.
Dawn, I see. It's an I've never played those games either.
So it sounds more like the Heavy Rain stuff. Like the Heavy Rain game.
Yeah.
Not my
I like
type.
that game.
Not my type of gameplay where it's just a bunch of cutscenes. I'm not bashing it. It looks cool, but I like, I get real bored real fast if I don't have nothing to
I
do.
liked I liked Heavy Rain, but it was like kind of early in when those games started, you know? Like it like led the way for so many other games that were like that.
Got you. Well, I mean, the thing is, like, a lot of people think I just bash games, but I actually play these games before I form an opinion. And Heavy Rain is not bad. It's just not for me. It's one of the reasons
Yeah.
why I don't like Alien Isolation, because I was just bored for most of it. If I don't have nothing to do, I'm just gonna be
Yeah.
laying up on the wall. You know,
Yep.
by the time I got
Slow
finished,
gameplay.
by the time I got finished with Resident Evil 7, like, I was laying on the floor foaming at the mouth. I was so damn bored, man. I was like, oh my God, people like this.
Can't even skip the cutscenes.
Yeah. Every time you die, you got to come back and you got to watch the whole cutscenes again. Especially
Yep, I hate that.
in Madhouse mode. How is it that every other Resident Evil game has it where you can skip the cutscenes except for that
I have
game?
no idea. And wasn't that their first game on the Reach engine though? Wasn't that their first Resident Evil on the Reach engine though? I think it was.
I
Or
don't.
was that remake?
I
Was
believe.
that 2 remake?
I believe it was either the Resident Evil 2 remake or Resident Evil 4 remake.
No. I know 7 and 8 use the Reach engine too.
It might be 7. It might be
I think
7.
it might be 7. I think 7 came first, so that might be why.
Yeah, 7 did come out before the 4 remake, so it could have been either 2 or 7.
Yeah, one or the other.
But even then, Resident Evil 2, you can skip the cutscenes.
Yeah, exactly.
It's kind of like when you think about, and I'm not bashing Code Veronica, but the question that I've always wondered is, okay, Jill could dodge. Jill seems to be the only Resident Evil character that can dodge. And nobody else. You think that when they came out with the dodge mechanic in Resident Evil 3, the OG, that it would have continued to the rest of the Resident Evil games that came out?
Yeah, I guess I kind of made that again with Leon. He could do a lot of stuff. Like, he had a lot of abilities. But yeah, the dodge. And the dodge was so janky in 3.
Well, Leon can parry in the Resident Evil remake, but in the original RE4, Leon, if you just got hit, you just got hit. Like, you had the bullshit, the button presses that you had to do, the quick time events, which is the one knock in that game that I hated. I was never a quick time events type of guy. I hate it. But yeah, so I'm definitely want to check that out. Another game that's coming out for the PS5 in 2025, and this is a game that's probably, I guess you can say, what's the word I'm looking for? What is the word I'm looking for? I can't think of it right now, but it's Dynasty Warriors. Dynasty Warriors Origins. A lot of people like those games. A lot of people hate those games.
Never played them.
So it's like, a lot of people find Dynasty Warriors and the Warriors games to be very repetitive. And then you got people like me who think it's just fun to just go around, as a samurai, just slashing through hundreds and hundreds of enemies.
Yeah.
And I mean, they did spread it out, and they did update the graphics and stuff. But for people who
that's not bad then.
Yeah, for people who are excited about that type of thing, there you go. Here's another game that caught my interest. I just saw that, and I have to see what it's about. But it's Where Winds Meet, an epic wuxia, an open world.
It's wuxia.
Yeah, an open world. Adventure
Chinese
RPG
enjoyer.
Set in ancient China, also coming to PS5.
That sounds chill.
Why
I like China.
But why PS5?
I like China.
Just PS5?
Oh yeah, it is only PS5. Lame.
I am so tired
Lame.
of these exclusives, man. Put it on everything.
I know. There's no point in, like, I know.
It's ridiculous, man. I'm not gonna go buy a PS5 just to play a game. Like, them days is over. Like, I bought the GameCube to play 3 games. You know, the Resident Evil 0,
Yeah.
Metal Gear Solid, Twin Snakes, and Resident Evil 4 because they were exclusive for that console. But I'm not gonna go spend $600 just to play, you know, Stellar Blade, even though Stellar Blade looks cool as hell. You know, it's not worth me buying no $600 system.
Yeah, no thanks, right?
You know, have you noticed that, like, slowly but surely they're starting to phase out the PS4 and the Xbox One? Like, they're making these games,
Yeah.
and they're not putting them out for, you know, the older gen. That's how you know that they're on their last legs. They're about to move on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Because there's a lot of games that I've seen on these websites where it's like, okay, PS5, the Xbox Series, and PC. No mention of 4 and Xbox One.
Nope.
We got some more news on Control 2, which I'm hyped about. Control 2 is expected to move into production readiness in the second quarter of this year. Production readiness, for those of you who don't know, is the crucial stage in the software development lifecycle. It's the point where the service is deemed ready for deployment and production environment. In other words, they're testing out, you know, trying to find if there's any bugs or anything that they need to fix.
Oh, nice. Nice. So just in the QA stage. That's nice. That's cool. Do they have any idea when it's coming out?
They still haven't given a date yet, but the expected budget is $52 million.
Oh.
So
well, then, it better be a good game.
So they got a lot to play with when it comes to this one.
Yeah, they do.
And we also have news, since we're part of the same universe, Control and Alan Wake and Max Payne. The Max Payne 1 and 2 remakes are expected to enter full production also in quarter 2 of this year. So anybody who's never played Max Payne for the older consoles, here's your chance. Really good games. Really good games.
I've never played them. I've seen them being played, though. I've seen them being played. They'd be good for a remake. They'd be good for a remake.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of people, because, you know, they're all a part of the same universe. Control, Alan Wake, and Max Payne, which is crazy how they connected all of that.
I know. And they're so different. Like, they're very different. It's interesting.
Yeah, you know, I like games like that where they have like cameos from characters that they have in you know, the other games and stuff that they made.
Yeah, I like that.
Like, what was it? Ghost Recon. I think it was Wildlands. Like Ghost Recon Wildlands. They had I think his name is Sam from the what's the name of that game? Oh my God, it slipped out of my head. Splinter Cell. Sam from Splinter Cell was in that game. He was in one of the missions, and I'm like,
really?
That's so cool,
man. That's cool.
That is cool. Of course, they make it very convoluted to find them. It's one of those easily missable side missions. You know, but that was pretty cool. And another game that I was excited for, but it looks like absolute trash, and I hate to say it. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Wrath of the Mutants. This was a game that came out back as a arcade game back in 2017, and they re-released it with scaled up graphics, and it looks like trash. It's not the old, it's not the Ninja Turtles that I remember. It's like the newer design Ninja Turtles and stuff. And I don't like the new designs. Like, I'm sorry. I looked at that. If you look at Ninja Turtles from 1988 all the way until now with the designs, it gets worse and worse with each generation.
Ooh.
Now I don't know what the hell those butt ass ugly turtles or whatever the hell they were in the Michael Bay movies. Holy crap. What I'm like, what did they do to the turtles, man? It's like somebody
Yeah.
took a human face and photoshopped it on one of the turtles' heads.
Oh man, that's creepy. I don't like that.
And I looked at the newest one that they got with the designs, and I hate it. Oh my god. It's just like when they came out with Thundercats in 2000, not 2011. The other Thundercats where they had like the chibi versions of everybody.
Yeah.
They did that
When
with
was that?
I forget what year it was. But they came out with that and it only lasted a couple episodes because everybody crapped on it. Surprisingly.
Yeah.
Not surprisingly.
You're right. Yeah, I was gonna say surprisingly.
You know, but the turtles, they look horrible, man. Like April, they changed her race. Like she's black now.
Oh God. Like they're really changing it up. It's for the next generation now.
Yeah, Master Splinter, he looks like roadkill. You know, he does. He look like somebody ran
Looks
over
like
him.
roadkill.
You know, and the turtles, they just look goofy as hell. Just if you see how
Oh my God.
Michelangelo looked like he got an IQ of 1. Like he just
An IQ of 1. I'm IQ of 1. Oh my God.
And I'm like, why are they screwing up the turtles like that, man? But yeah, this game, Game Informer said I love that site. That's the source that I go to most of the time. But Game Informer said, unfortunately, no amount of Easter eggs and fan service can compensate for its uninteresting gameplay.
Oh, not fun.
IGN gave it a 6 out of 10. Metacritic gave it a 54%, and Xbox Hub gave it a 3.5 out of 5. In other words, very mediocre, very boring,
It's
boring.
all right.
It's more boring.
It's all right.
It's more boring than Sunday school. It's more bland than dishwater. Watching paint dry will probably give you more excitement than playing a game like this. Trust me, I played
boring. You played it. It's boring, huh?
Yeah, I got buyer's remorse with that crap. You ever bought a game and it made you regret buying it? It's like, man, I could have used that.
Oh yeah.
I could have used that $10 to buy a Subway sandwich, man.
Oh yeah, exactly. I know that exact feeling.
Terrible, man. Terrible.
I know that exact feeling.
You know, because the thing is that how the mighty have fallen, because back in the day when Konami was on top of their game and they used to have like all of the arcade games out there, Ninja Turtles in the arcades was the shit. They had 4 players. I remember that when you were going to there and they had the 4 controllers and you could play as each of the turtles. Like they had a blue controller for Leo, an orange one for Mike, or a red one for Ralph, and Donatello purple. And you would just go in there and you would 4 of your friends would just play that. Turtles in Time for Super Nintendo.
Turtles in Time. Yeah.
Great game.
Remember that.
Tournament Fighters, which was Ninja Turtles meets Street Fighter. Great game. You know, and it's like, after that, it just, I mean, that last one, not this one, but the other one that they did that Way Forward did, that's a great game. The one I told you about where April O'Neil goes around clocking dudes in the head with her microphone.
Oh, yeah.
And
yeah.
Beating
them,
I
remember that. Yes.
Beating them with the camera. That's a really good game if y'all haven't played that. Anyways, though, now for some Nintendo news. Nintendo fans, I'm going to talk positively about you today. Hooray!
Oh, man. Congrats.
Yay! The Nintendo president, I mentioned this before, but the Nintendo president, Furukawa, said, we will make an announcement for the Switch successor to the Nintendo Switch within the fiscal year, which is March 2025. It will be 9 years since we announced the Switch way back in March 2015. We will be holding a Nintendo Direct this June, which, you know, we already had that, regarding Switch hardware and software lineup for the latter part of 2024. But please be aware that there will be no mention of the Switch successor during the presentation. So
Holy shit.
blue balls, Nintendo's fans.
Yeah. But like, wow, 10 years?
Yeah,
Almost 10 years?
Yeah, the first Switch came out back in March 2015. You know,
Whoa.
but at least they mentioned it. At least that, you know,
Yeah,
it's
they did.
out there. You know, so at least it gives them
That's true.
something to look forward to, you know, in March of next year. And since we're talking about the Switch, they just put out, you know, they have a whole bunch of games coming out for the Nintendo Switch. They just updated
Yeah.
the Nintendo Online service. They added a couple of games. For the Game Boy catalog, they released all Mega Man games for the Game Boy, which were great games. I had that for the Game Boy.
That's cool.
So Dr. Wily's Revenge, Mega Man 2, 3, 4, and 5 for the Game Boy. For the Nintendo Game Boy Advance catalog, Metroid Zero Mission, which I am a huge Metroid fan. That's a remake of the first Metroid game for Nintendo. If you guys haven't played that, here's your chance to play it on the Switch if you have a Nintendo Switch. They're also releasing Zelda Link to the Past, the Four Swords, which is like the 4-player Zelda game with the...
Oh, I remember that game.
Yeah, they're releasing...
I remember that game.
They're releasing that and with the separate co-op campaign. So if you guys want to get your hands on that and play some Zelda Four Swords, there you go. There's your chance to do so. For the Nintendo 64 catalog, they're releasing Perfect Dark 64 and Turok Dinosaur Hunter. So if you guys are a fan of, you know, the first person style games, you guys would eat that stuff up if you like the 007 games. You know,
Sweet.
I did see a lot of that, especially with Perfect Dark. I saw a lot of that like on the displays and you know, Best Buy and stuff like that when they had that. Yes, speaking of Perfect Dark, the Perfect Dark reboot, which was first announced back in 2020 at the Game Awards, finally has some trailers, but there's still no
Finally
release.
here.
Yeah, they got some trailers, but still no release dates. And I hate when companies do that.
I hate when they do that. Yes.
They did that with
Especially 2004. Like, come on.
Yeah, they did that with the Prince of Persia Sands of Time remake. They announced this stuff and then they don't say nothing else about it for years.
So did that with the Silent Hill 2 remake.
Yeah, it's like, why do y'all do that to fans? Why not wait until you have something in concrete and then announce the game? Don't tell people that these games, look at Metroid 4 Prime. They're finally coming out with that. They announced that when they came out with Dread, which was a couple of years ago. And then they don't mention nothing about these games. And people are just sitting around wondering, are you still making it? You know, just don't do that.
And then
people.
you hear nothing. And then you hear nothing, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
And then they give you a bullshit trailer that they came out with, you know, when they announced the game. And I'm like, dude, like, y'all got to do better than that. Don't hype people up. That's just like, you know, that's just like somebody saying, you know what, I'm gonna buy you your brand new favorite car, and it ends up being a Matchbox car.
Exactly.
You all hyped up.
Exactly.
You're like, man, I'm gonna get a new car to drive, and then you get a freaking, you know, Micro Machines car.
Right. Exactly.
Another announcement for the Nintendo Switch, folks. Donkey Kong Country HD is on its way, which is a remake of the Donkey Kong Country game for the Nintendo Switch. Is coming out on January 16th, 2025. If you guys have never played Donkey Kong Country, I don't know what you're doing with your life. One of the best platform games on the Super Nintendo. All three of them. Hard as balls, but all three of them. My brother and I used to play that. You know, whenever we got the chance to go to friends' houses, that was one of his favorite games. Still, that first, actually, you know what? All three of them. If you're talking about video game soundtracks, video game soundtracks, Donkey Kong Country has some of the best music I've ever heard. That water level in the first Donkey Kong Country is the most peaceful theme I think I've ever heard. And it's the soundtracks are made by the same guy that did the soundtracks for most of the Rare games like Killer Instinct. And I'm just like, man, that's hype. So if you're a Switch player, make sure you pick that up in January. Again, the release date is January 16th, 2025. Get your hands on it. Dragon Quest 12. A lot of people are concerned that the game was canceled because they haven't said anything about it. What did I just say to you guys? You know, when game developers announce things and then they don't follow up with it. But we have a post from Hori on X or Twitter, whichever you want to call it. I'm calling it Twitter. The hell with X. X sounds like a pornographic website. I'm not going to call it that. Twitter. It says about the first update, which was back in May 2021. He didn't provide any new details about Dragon Quest 12, despite the series having its anniversary that May 27th. And he said that Square Enix was still working on it. In other words, not giving anybody anything. This is what he had to say. Everyone, thank you. Thank you for all the congratulations, Hori said, on the 38th anniversary celebrations. I'm hoping it will be fitting. It will be fitting posthumous work for two of the people who passed away. You know, two of the key artists. If you guys don't know, one of the artists is Akira Toriyama, which was the creator of Dr. Slump and Dragon Ball Z. He did the artwork for a lot of the Dragon Quest games going all the way back.
That's cool. That's cool.
So Akira Toriyama.
Dragon Quest is old.
Yeah.
Game is old.
Yeah, Toriyama passed away. I wouldn't even be an anime fan if it wasn't for him. So yeah, that may be why Dragon Quest 12 was on hiatus, because Toriyama was probably, I don't know if he was working on that before he died, but he was working on Dragon Ball Daima, and he was probably doing stuff on the side. So that may explain. They didn't say that, you know, that's why Dragon Quest 12, but I could pretty much guess. If you're talking about key artists,
yeah.
I mean, Akira Toriyama, come on now. But Square Enix announced back in April this year, that it was taken up to 22.1 billion zenny, approximately $140.9 million of content abandonment loss, which means games that they abandoned.
Oh my God.
Which means they took a huge hit because they keep announcing these games, they keep working on them, and then they cancel them for some reason.
Then they drop them. Yeah.
You know, so it's changed its development plans to be more selective. Given lack of updates around Dragon Quest 12, many fans are concerned it was affected by the reshuffle. But they did announce that there's going to be a Dragon Quest 3 remake. So they had the trailer for that, and they also announced at the end of that there will be a Dragon Quest 1 and 2 remakes also as well too, coming out in 2025.
Everything is being remade. Everything is being remade. Can we stop doing remakes now? Do something new.
It would be nice if they did. It would be nice if they would stop being lazy and actually give us something new. And this is why I said back then about, you know, the Code Veronica remakes and you know, go ahead and remake that. You know, but I want Capcom to move forward and do other things. You have other things that you can work on.
New.
You know, other things.
Do something new.
Other than Street Fighter and Resident Evil, you guys got Dino Crisis. You guys got Darkstalkers, which was a great game. You know, how about doing something new with them? You guys got Final Fight. How about a new Final Fight?
Yeah, right? Like, just make a new game in a series. You have so many series. Like, they have so many games they're sleeping on. Like, stop remaking. Stop remaking them. Stop remaking them.
I think the last time Capcom actually did something out of the box was a game called Remember Me back on the Xbox 360 and the PS3.
Well, I don't remember it.
Yeah, like if you look at it's more like Ghost in the Shell meets like Cyberpunk.
Oh, okay.
Like you take control of this girl who has like all of these abilities to, to hack people's brains and stuff like that. It was pretty cool for what it was, but they had lack of promotion. A lot of people don't even know that game exists.
Yeah. I've never heard.
Yeah, but it was a decent game. That was the last time Capcom actually tried to do something creative. If you're gonna do remakes, just port stuff. Like I said,
I'd take a port.
Yeah, port. Port.
Or remaster.
Yeah, port Resident Evil Outbreak. Port over.
Please.
Haunting Grounds. Port that over.
Please, yes. There's so many games that can be ported.
Yes, there is. Capcom, you're sitting on a lot of stuff, just like Konami is sitting on Castlevania, just like Konami. Oh man, I hate when they do that. Oh yeah, we talking about Capcom. What about Breath of Fire?
Oh yeah, I love those games.
What about a new Breath of Fire? Like they
love those games.
The last thing that they came out with was a little mobile handheld game, and they just slapped Breath of Fire on it.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, you're not missing nothing. It's one of those gotcha games.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like it.
Like you have to pay. Like if your character dies in the game, you have to pay. You have to actually pay real money to bring them back to life.
Oh yeah, screw that. Screw that.
And last but not least, we got. Have you ever heard of the game Dino Break?
Yes.
It's like
we were talking about that in my stream.
Yeah, the spiritual successor to Dino Crisis.
Yeah.
And it looks like it, and every bit, like if you guys like that old 1999 style cheesiness, you guys need to pick this up. It's on PC.
Yeah.
It takes place in a metropolitan series, metropolitan city. Sorry. On a fateful night in 1999, a band of survivors across the city uncover the origins of an onslaught. In other words, you're being attacked by dinosaurs.
Attacked by dinosaurs.
Yes.
That'd be fun.
Yep, I knew it. Brett. Yeah, we used to play, and it's crazy because I had a moment of insanity when all I had was Resident Evil 5 back on the PS5. We played that game, and we played it all the time, and I'm gonna repeat myself again. Look, for those people who talk about they like Resident Evil 5, you're wrong. That game is terrible. It's ass. It's garbage. It's doo-doo. It's that stuff that comes out of your butthole. It's shit. Number 2, it is a garbage game. Yes, it is. And if you guys don't understand why people like this game, let Miss Kelsey Phyllis tell you. It's like everyone says it's fun with the friend, but that's literally it.
That's it.
That's all people can say. Friend. I was in a
That's all that I ever hear.
That's
all I ever hear.
I went into a stream today, right? And it was a lady playing the OG Resident Evil 1, the director's cut. And she was just talking about all the Resident Evil games that she liked. And of course, when she said Resident Evil 5, I got triggered because, that's me. And I just went off on it. I'm like, it sucks. And she said the exact same words before
friend.
Yeah, even before it left her mouth, I knew exactly what she was going to say. Well, it's fun if you play with a friend.
Yep. That's all people can ever know. Yep, that's all everyone ever says. That's all everyone ever says.
They can't say nothing else about it, and I don't understand why. Because you know why people can't say anything else about it? Because it sucks.
Yep.
It's a garbage game, dude. You can't defend it, bro. If that's all y'all got is it's fun with friends, it sucks.
Yeah, it's fun with friends.
Oh my God, man. You can't even defend it. At least, with games, when you have a defense, you can come up with good things about a game. And I'm thinking about doing stuff like that too. It's going to be time consuming. I'm probably not going to do it anytime soon, but I'm probably going to go through all the Resident Evil games, not play them, but I'm going to go through the Resident Evil games and list good things and bad things about the game.
Okay, yeah.
And, to get to Resident Evil 5 and 6, I'm going to be struggling hard. When I
You'll get it though.
You'll
get it though.
But we will get it. Yeah, I'm sorry to go off on that rant, but man, I tell you, I got PTSD when it comes to Resident Evil 5, man.
Oh, that's fine. We know.
Crap. And it's like I think Crow enjoys that stuff, man. I think he mentions Resident Evil 5 in your stream on purpose, just so you would say it.
People do.
Just so you would so you would say it out loud, and then I would instantly wake up just to crap on it.
Oh, people do. People do.
It's like they call me out of thin air like Beetlejuice.
It's true. It's true. That's how you summon him.
Yeah, like the Candy Man, yo. I'm like, they doing that crap on purpose, man.
Exactly. Exactly.
I think I've become a meme, don't you think?
Little bit, yeah. Just a little bit.
Anyways, though. So, it's that time of the show again. Y'all know what time it is. It's time to move over to Kelsey's Corner.
It's time.
Because it's Kelsey's section of the show. She's going to be talking about a lot of the bullshit, Kickstarter scams, and I can't wait to hear about this. So we're going to move on over to Kelsey's Corner. Bam.
Thank you, Ken. Thank you, Ken. I appreciate you.
Go ahead. You got the
All right. Appreciate you. Yeah. All right. So Kickstarter scams. So like, I don't know. Do things even get like just? I don't really see Kickstarter being a thing. I remember when Kickstarter started, though. So many Kickstarter scams. I think I was reading it's like 6% of Kickstarter projects. They're like scams. But anyways, there were a bunch. Like, there's a bunch of games that were kickstarted. Like, there's good games that were kickstarted. Like Visage, love Visage. That was a Kickstarter game. Bloodstained was a Kickstarter game. There's a lot of good Kickstarter games, but like there's so many scam ones. But like the ones I was really looking at were like super, just trashy. So we have a couple here. So we had Titan Reach. So they raised $430,000. All right. And then nothing for a while. No one heard anything for a while. And then it got rebooted. They brought it back, right? And then it was canceled. They said it was lack of funding. But the owner ended up allegedly buying a Tesla with the funds.
Imagine that. So in other words, people, you got played. And this is why, folks, you don't pay for things before you see a product. It just one of those that's dirty, man. And I hope they caught that guy. I don't know if he got in trouble for that, but it's just like the console we were talking about in your stream yesterday. It was a Atari console, I believe it was, where I was supposed to do all of these things, like play all the older games, Nintendo and Super Nintendo. And they just kept procrastinating because they didn't have anything. So what they did was they took an old Atari Jaguar case and they put dental equipment in it and try to pass it off as a prototype. And then they said nothing about it ever since then. Like literally it's been years. So they just
and it's done.
So they just stole people's money.
Yep, exactly. Exactly. Like it's so easy, right? Like and yeah, it's so easy to steal people's money. So easy to steal people's money on these. And like what some of them do is they just like never close the Kickstarter. They just like never close it. So we had Unsung Story. So that one was 600,000 in backing. They had like former Square Enix employees and stuff. It ended up just being like a whole like Ponzi scheme in a way. For a little bit, like it ended up being a not Ponzi scheme, just ended up being a bit of a scheme for a while. But like it was canceled, and then they released in early access, and then it sucks, so they just like abandoned it. And this is like a thing that a lot of scams do in Kickstarter is they release it in early access. So they're like, okay, here's your product. It's early access. They release it like whatever, they release a product. There's proof that a product is being worked on. So they release it in early access. It can be a piece of shit. And they're like, well, this is just like proof of concept. And then they dip. They just abandon it. They just leave it. They're like, all right, thanks for the money, though. Canceling the project. They'll get like crazy amounts of money and be like, sorry, we didn't have enough funding. Sorry.
That's dirty, man. Like, don't play with people. Play with people's money like that, man. You got people interested in a product that, they want to see made. Do something, man. Like, don't.
Oh, yeah.
Or you see, like, well, they'll put it up, like you said, and then they'll slowly remove it so that nobody knows what happened to the game. Like, they'll remove it from Steam.
Exactly.
And people are
exactly, yeah.
What the hell happened to it?
Yep, so many games just abandoned. Just abandoned. Okay, what is it? The Ouya? Is that how you say it?
Oh my god.
Do you guys remember that?
Oh my god.
Do you guys remember that? It was like an Android box. It was like an Android box. Now, okay, you know what the thing is? I have what the Ouya kind of wanted to be. I have an NVIDIA Shield, which is just like an NVIDIA Android box. And like if I want to play games on my computer, but I want to chill in my bed, I just chill in my bed. And I just cast my computer to the NVIDIA Shield. Like, it's perfect, But that's what the Ouya kind wanted to be. But, like, it was absolute trash. Like, it had horrible connectability. Like, the Wi-Fi was trash. When they previewed it, like they showed it running Minecraft, but it could not. It didn't have Minecraft on it at all. Showed it was running Minecraft. Minecraft was not on it. And it said that like you could have all these like free to play games with it, and like there were none. There were like barely. I think the Google Stadia, yes, indeed. So many like.
The funny thing is, I don't.
But it was wait 1 second though.
Sorry.
$8.5 million. That's it. $8.5 million.
That's all generated?
Yeah. No, that's how much it raised, yeah.
Oh, that's how much it raised for that system? And it sucked that badly? At least I'll say this, at least they came out with it.
True.
At least they gave people a finished product, which is more than I can say for a lot of these other Kickstarter.
That's true.
Scammers.
That's true. Yeah, that's fair.
But yeah, I remember seeing that. It looked like a knockoff GameCube. You ever seen like one of those? Like I know y'all seen one of those, like those knockoff Game Boy consoles or handheld consoles that people just put, Nintendo, hacks on and stuff. That's what. They
just like put a little emulator on it.
Yeah, the Ouya looks like something you would see like in the episode of South Park when they're parodying something.
Oh yeah, it does. It does. It totally does, actually. It totally does. That's funny.
Yeah, $8.5 million they raised for that. And they couldn't even.
That's hefty.
Wow, and it's not like it takes that much to run mobile games these days. I mean, the iPhone 15 is going to be getting Resident Evil 7 and Resident Evil 4 remake. The iPhone 15, Exactly.
The last one we had was the Stomping Land. It was Dinosaur RPG. They raised $114,000 of a $20,000 goal. All right. dropped the game in early access, once again abandoned it. Allegedly, like 2 years ago, I was seeing things like it was like people were saying that they were trying to come back and revive it after abandoning it for like 8 years. Like wiped all of like the Steam forums and was like trying to wipe it clean, trying to bring it back. But yeah, like so many scams. There's so many scams.
So they basically did like they did with Duke Nukem Forever. Like Duke Nukem Forever is probably the one game that took the longest to develop. I mean,
at least it came out.
Yeah, and it sucked. Like
yeah, but at least it came out.
With all of that hype and all of that stuff, like I mean, through generations, they announced this back in that Nintendo 64 era, and it took them all the way until we got to the PS4.
True, it was a while.
Was till we got to the PS3 when they finally came out with the game.
I think so. Yeah, I remember that, and it was terrible.
Yeah,
it was terrible.
People, you got to be careful who you send your money to, where you send your money to, because you most likely 99.9% of the time you will get screwed. Somebody's looking to steal money from you.
Yep. Which the next one here being sued. So Valve. So like they're being sued for 656 million pounds for allegedly overcharging like 14 million UK citizens. And I guess like it's alleged that they force developers into a contract that if they sell their game on different platform, they cannot sell it like any cheaper. It's like, but like to me, it's like, man, Valve is a monopoly. And like my biggest question is like, and it's a private company. Valve's a private company too. So like what happens when like Gabe dies? Like that's actually a big question I have, because he's like how old now? He's getting older. But like I don't know if Valve's gonna stay private, you know?
Now when you're talking about Valve, are you talking about like the creators of Steam and the Steam Deck?
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah, that Valve. Yeah, just because they have like a contract with developers. But yeah,
wow. So basically,
they're a monopoly.
So basically they're forcing their people into a contract. First off, that's against the law, isn't it?
I have no idea. I'm not a lawyer, but I just know like a non like competitive contract that just like sucks, right? That just like sucks, because then they can't do deals for certain platforms, right? They can have like promotions and stuff.
That's stupid. That reminds me of how Konami was treating their people. Like, remember reading on that, how they were treating their workers? Like that was evil. I don't know how they got away with that.
Yeah, the Konami is shitty.
Yeah, the working conditions that they forced their people to
really
work.
Bad.
And
the way
that they did Hideo Kojima dirty on his way out.
Yeah. Konami has never not been scummy, honestly. They've never not been, unfortunately.
Yeah,
but
Konami's like that ex that you can't get rid of. It's like, hey, I got I fixed myself up. I got me a Silent Hill remake. Please give me another chance.
Oh yeah, when he couldn't accept his own trophy at the Game Awards. Yeah, like scummy. Yeah, absolutely scummy.
They did him dirty on that. Like they didn't even mention the man's name, and it was Hideo Kojima with the Metal Gear Solid series that kept Konami afloat for so many years.
Exactly.
And you're gonna diss the man like that? And I was like,
exactly.
I had no respect for Konami after that. I'm like, you gonna do people like that who held your company above water because they had nothing else doing anything. Castlevania was great, but it wasn't generating millions of dollars.
Exactly.
Silent Hill was pretty much dead at that point.
Yep.
You know, so they didn't have anything but Metal Gear.
Nope. Nope. Exactly. Um, then okay, I have another question, and this like I noticed this because everyone was asking me like, oh, like how like have you played the game Still Wakes the Deep? And like I was like, cool, check it out. It's almost $40 Canadian or $50 Canadian. And I was asking people how long the game is, and it's only like a 7-hour game. And I was like, it's a 7-hour game, and it's like $50 in my currency, or it's on Game Pass, or it comes out on Game Pass. So like, is Game Pass the only thing that's keeping Xbox alive at this point? Because like, is that just a thing that they do? Like they price games at this point for Xbox that it's like, oh, okay, I might as well get Game Pass for this game.
No,
Because like even on the Xbox, like they give you ads for Game Pass. Like, you know, so that they have like no options for buying games themselves. Like, I think that's the only thing keeping Xbox alive.
I think that's with everything, because a lot of people are not willing to pay full price for these games, and I don't blame them. So they wait for things to go on sale, and a lot of times getting games for free or at a cheaper price on the Game Pass or on the whatever Sony. I forgot what Sony has. What do they got? Um,
PlayStation Plus,
yeah,
is it?
PlayStation Plus. So a
Is
lot of,
that is it?
yeah, that's what it is. I think it is PlayStation Plus. Yeah. Um, a lot of people get games that way. They get them at
Here's itchy.
at a dirt cheap price or just for free, because nobody's gonna pay $70, you know, for a
No,
game.
exactly.
And the thing is, with a lot of these games, and I'll use Resident Evil 3 Remake as an example. That game, that game is like a little over an hour long.
Yeah.
If you can run through the game without dying and all that, no, it's like a little over an hour. And they charged $60 for this game
Mm-hmm.
when it first came out.
Yep.
And games are getting shorter and shorter and shorter, and they're just charging more and more money. And there's no replayability.
Yep.
And I'm just like, how much more can they keep screwing us?
Exactly. Exactly. Sorry, my ear is quite itchy.
You know, or that's all right. That means somebody in chat's talking about you.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, it's just things like this that piss me off, because it's like, man, come on. Like, you're nickel and diamond people, and when they're not doing that, the game is actually longer than what it is, but they just cut out portions of the game and they resell it to you in DLC form.
Exactly. 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 Like there's literally no point in just like buying the games. Yeah, you get hooked on yeah, and then you don't own the games. And you don't even own the games, yeah. You're just so if they decide like, oh, ban your account, well, like you lose that many games. Good job. Like, you don't own anything. Actually, speaking of not owning anything, also, okay, there's Vim's Lair. I don't know who knows or remembers Vim's Lair.
I do.
But it's like, you do? Okay, emulation site since '97. Nintendo, Sega, and the ESA ordered them to like remove their games. Use them, so yeah, ordered them to remove a ton of games. Like, ton of games. And like they've been cracking down on emulation sites. Nintendo has, especially. They've been really cracking down on emulation sites. But it's like, why? Like, you're not going to sell these games? Why don't you sell them then? Like, why don't you sell them? Why don't you port them? There's so many games like that.
Nintendo's been doing that for years. Like, they've been going after and suing like a lot of people that are emulating their games. They've been doing that for years. Like, where they would get stuff shut down, you would go put up the link and they would go to the Nintendo website.
Yeah, yeah.
And my thing is,
yeah.
The only thing that I could come to the conclusion on is that since they have the Nintendo Switch Online service and they're putting out retro games on there, they want you to pay for it.
Yep, exactly. Exactly.
So that's why, like, they're adding a whole bunch of retro games that they know people want, but they want you to pay for it. They don't want you to emulate their games.
Exactly.
And Sega, I mean, Sega, honestly, when's the last time anybody mentioned it? Honestly.
Right. What was Sega done recently aside license their stuff?
He ain't did a damn thing.
But yeah.
You know,
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, Nintendo, like, I don't understand that, because it's like you got people who have some very good hacks that they made, Metroid hacks, Super Mario World hacks.
I played some good Pokemon hacks.
Yeah, and then
Played some good Pokemon ROM hacks.
and you would think that they would be happy to just have their, you know, their work out there, but Nintendo's very greedy. They always have been.
Very greedy.
Like, it's the reason why they're number 3 now. I don't care how many units the Switch has sold. Of course, it's going to sell more than every other thing. It's been out longer.
And they have a monopoly.
Yeah, but the issue that this goes all the way back to the 90s when Nintendo, they were very, very greedy. They wanted to have
yeah, it's true.
You know, when they did collaborations, they wanted to have, like, you know, a lot of the power. And this is why, you know, they ended up getting screwed over when they wanted to do the CD add-on for the Super Nintendo. Sony came to them. The Philips CDI came to them, and the reason why the deal never went through is because Nintendo was greedy. They wanted most of the money.
Yep.
They wanted the rights and the ownership to all of that. And Sony said, screw you, and they made the PlayStation.
Exactly.
Philips wasn't so lucky because they had the Philips CDI, which was a terrible system.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, who really had that?
Garbage. 3 of the worst Zelda games ever created is on that system.
Oh yeah, the Zelda CDI. Yeah. Yes. Oh my God. Yeah, you're right.
Absolute trash.
So bad.
Yeah, but
so bad.
You know, and then they had the Super Mario Brothers game, like, where Mario's going down each floor trying to keep all the doors closed. Like, the Goombas come out of the door.
Yeah.
And then you got to go down and close.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh my God. You know, the CDI looked like a VCR.
Yeah, no thanks. No thanks.
You're not missing out on anything.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, and then my last piece of Kelsey's Corner for today, and we'll get into some zombie army here after. It's like a question. Would you rather have a game be canceled, or would you rather they release it and it just sucks?
Would I rather a game be canceled, or would I rather a game suck? Well, I mean, how do you know the game sucks if they don't release it?
No, but like, would you rather a game be completely canceled, or like if the exact same game gets released but it sucks?
I kind of wish they did that with Resident Evil 5. But
yeah,
you know, if they have, you know, promotional work and you see how the game looks, like, for instance, when people were talking about the Silent Hill 2, if you know that a game is bad and you know that the fan base is going to hate it, then I would rather you cancel it.
Yep.
I would rather you just cancel the game than to just get the backlash and lose the money like they did, you know, with a lot of these games that came out over the years.
I'd rather it just be canceled. I'd just rather it be canceled. Like,
because you know that
I would much rather it be canceled.
Because you know that they've heard a lot of the stories about, you know, how some of these games in the development stage and how the developers are having issues with these games. Just cancel it. Like, why go through all that? You know it's bad. You know the fans are going to hate it, and they're going to be outside your building with pitchforks. Why even go through it?
Exactly.
You know, so I'd rather them just cancel it. But, you know, it's kind of a catch-22. You kind of back yourself into a corner, because when you announce a game, when you announce a game like a Silent Hill 2 or Metal Gear Solid Delta, Snake Eater, you're talking about games that people hold near and dear, and you know people are going to be hyped about these games. You can't just say, hey, we're going to make this game with a Prince of Persia Sands of Time game remake that I'm excited about. They can't afford to just pull back and say, you know what, we're going to cancel it, because Capcom did that with 4 Mega Man games.
Yeah.
Before
abandoning games.
Before they came out with Mega Man 9, they did that with 4 Mega Man games, Mega Man Legends 3. And they actually had a website where the fans could go there and they could input their ideas, and the fans were actually helping to make the game.
Oh man.
So when they canceled that, I'm like, that's
that's painful. That's painful.
Yeah, and then they canceled.
That's painful.
They canceled Mega Man Maverick Hunter, which was basically Mega Man meets Metroid Prime. It was like a first-person Mega Man game. They
canceled it.
Yeah, and they canceled it, and I'm like, you can't do that. You know what I mean? Like,
no,
you can't announce.
They
games.
just keep canceling them.
Yeah, you can't announce games and then you have it already developed. You already have footage and gameplay, and just say, nope, we're just gonna cancel it.
Yep.
So
exactly.
It kind of feels like, like the game X for the PS3. That game was ass garbage. Like, it was just absolutely terrible. But they had to come out with it. It was already 90% done.
Yep. But yeah, and it sucked.
It's like a hit or miss. Oh my God, that game was terrible.
Yeah.
That was in the early days of the PS3, like when they were still figuring out the graphics and stuff. Yes.
Exactly.
But yes, that's all. That's all of our notes for each of us. Thank you to everybody that showed up to the show again.
Appreciate you all.
If you guys want to catch the audio only versions, I will have that stuff done in a couple of hours, because I have to do the editing and then push it out to the feed. But I will have this if you guys want to catch the live stream, and I'm happy that Twitch didn't crap out on us today.
Nope, it was kind.
So the live stream will be up here on Twitch. You know how long it stays up. It'll be on my YouTube channel, Mr. Kennedy 04. And I will push out the audio only to all of the things up there: Spotify, iHeartRadio, Samsung Podcast, Pandora, Podchaser, Spreaker, Amazon Music. Say that in one
everything.
breath, folks. Everything except Apple Podcasts.
Except Apple. Apple Podcasts, yes. Thank you guys. I appreciate you guys.
Yes. Thank you to everybody that showed up. We will be back in 2 weeks for episode 8.
Yes, we will.
At 8 episodes, and I got a lot to talk about there. I already got the notes about that.
That's crazy.
One. Thank you to everybody that showed up.
Let's do this.
I will see y'all in a little bit.